Hello, today I'm joined by my guest Aaron Camden from Keyhive. Aaron, how you doing?
Hi there, guys. Yeah, good. Very well. Thank you very much.
Great. Nice to have you with us. So, Aaron, the clue is in the title. We know that you work very well with keys, and I end up doing loads and loads of these webinars every week. We are looking at all the mod cons, tech that sort of looks after your clients, your communication, AI, all sorts of different monitoring and stats and data that we can get. But still, one of the real fundamentals of a state agency never changes. We all need keys to get in and out of houses. And let's face it, key management very often in an average agency leaves a lot to be desired. In terms of just tracking it and monitoring it and making sure that it's all reported on correctly as well. So it might sound strange that in 2026 we're talking about digital key management, but actually it is very much the future, isn't it?
I think that's right. I think as an industry, we've become more professional over the years as we do every year. And as quite rightly you say, CRMs are improving, AI is improving, tech is coming out there. But it's amazing that key management hasn't really, and it's still kind of stuck in that point. We've got CRMs, automation, compliance dashboards, and then we still have that paper book at reception, kind of controlling the £1,000 worth of assets or an Excel spreadsheet, which is kind of put together and not really kept up to date. So, keys are physical access to someone's property, and if you can't prove who's had them or when they've had them, you're kind of exposed. So, it's not about convenience anymore. It's kind of about the accountability, and that's kind of what Keyhive hopefully brings to you as an office.
So, I mean, we talk about the cost of a missing key. Now, to cut a key, it's relatively inexpensive, although
Mhm.
costs have risen on that as well. But very often, when mistakes happen and keys go missing, I've been in situations where the agent isn't able to turn around to their client because it's not the client's fault and say, "Hey, these keys are missing, and now I need to send out a locksmith to change the locks wholesale, everything, the barrel." The keys, the whole lot, which is a lot more expensive than cutting a key. And very often I've seen agencies absorb the cost themselves.
Mhm.
And I think it probably happens more often than we think if you're not tracking those keys properly. Is that something that you come into contact with quite a bit?
Yeah, so I actually had a demo a couple of weeks ago from a large corporate. I won't mention their name because it'll get me in trouble. But they were mentioning the cost of lost keys to them, just from the physical cost of changing locks and keys and so forth. They're kind of spending kind of between 200 and £400 a month
Yeah.
on changes and fixing and so on and so forth. Which obviously is a heck of a lot of money. But if we kind of go away from the corporate and look at everyone else, lost keys doesn't happen very often, but they're more misplaced. And it's never just the key, it's more the staff time searching. Yes, there are a lot of replacements, of course, but angry landlords, conversations made with insurance companies about having to replace keys or lose them from that point of view, and the time really in the office. We all know what it's like from a point of view of you go to the key drawer and the keys aren't there, and then you spend the next 20 minutes ringing up all the contracts you think have got the keys. They say they haven't got them. You've got to check your jacket pockets. You've got to drive home and check, your drawers at home. So, even though the keys don't get lost very often, the amount of time cost is real, and yeah, eliminating that is a real big
And
factor.
there's a mental health cost that we don't talk about
Yeah.
because the stress is unreal. Because let's face it, if I'm making a trip to the key cupboard, it's because I need the keys for something. It's either a viewing, I'm letting somebody into the house. I might even be meeting the owner there who expects me to sort of show them the house. I could have somebody stood in reception that was picking up the keys and we knew that they were coming, but when I went to go and get them, they weren't there. And that kind of panic is real because it's a time limited question. You need to deliver those keys. You can't keep people waiting. It can be madness, can't it?
It's always the ones which go missing when you have a new purchaser who just purchased the property and they come in to pick up the keys in 10 minutes, or you've had a property sat on the market for 2 months, you haven't had any viewings, and you've got this golden viewing which you've got to be there in 30 minutes, and then the key for some reason isn't there, and no one's been out there for the past 3 months, and you just think, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
And
it's
and let us not forget the epic scenario. where another agent comes into your office to borrow the keys because they're doing a viewing and you look very unprofessional trying to scrabble around trying to find them. So
Yeah.
it's something that we can all avoid. So for those people that aren't familiar with Keyhive and what it does practically, how does Keyhive stop staff from effectively forgetting to log keys?
Um, we kind of remove the option not to forget them. So every key is digitally checked in and out. So it's time stamped, signed, and then logged. So there's no kind of scribble on the paper and there's no question mark saying, oh, I think Dave's got it. In a couple of seconds, you can see what's going on. You can see there's accountability and actually the behavior changed quite quickly within the office. So from a point of view of, yes, look, if someone goes to the key drawer, grabs that key and doesn't use Keyhive and walk out of the office, it's not going to work from that point of view. But from a point of view of if you grab that key, you can sign that key out within about 4 seconds. You can return that key in under a second. So once you build that behavior and build that with the ethos within the business, everyone's mindset changes, the accountability changes, and actually you'd be surprised that actually the team start buying and using it because it's quick and easy and simple to do.
Yeah, yeah. So there are other key management systems out there, some of them far more complex than they need to be very often when you look at them, and some of them easier to use than others. What in your opinion, I know you're going to be biased, but what in your opinion makes Keyhive different from the other systems that are available for agents?
Um, I think a big point of view is that it was built specifically for agents. I think our product was obviously off my own backing of I have run my own letting agency here. We now manage over 600 units. Originally, when it came out, we're kind of around the 200 mark, and I'd had the issue with keys for many, many years. I'd looked at products on the market, and the products I had looked at didn't tick my boxes as an agent, and kind of one of my main feedback from demos and customers who sign up is that they say, we can tell it's been built by someone who is in the industry.
Yeah,
So it's not kind of just a generic software. We've got property workflows built into it, viewings are integrated, multi-branch operations for larger clients who want to copy across multiple branches and see what's going on with multiple branches, CRM integrations. I understand how a letting branch actually runs, and the sector focus is why adoption is quick and behavior change really sticks with it from a point of view of that. The whole idea behind it is based on I'm a letting agent, I know the pain points, and I fix the pain points. So you'll be fine from that side.
you know what? You look remarkably young and your skin is smooth and clean and free of wrinkles for a letting agent. But well, I'm going to take your word for it, my friend. Um,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
you touched on integrations there, so I just want to step back into that because it is important to us. We like our tech to talk to our main systems that we're using. You have some new integrations that you've developed with SME, with Street, Repit, and Apex 27. I mean, these are some of the leading CRM systems that people are using. Obviously, that's quite important that it marries together with key management.
Mhm.
I'm presuming that's working out really well.
Yeah, so the integrations are great. We know that as agents, we like to say, "Oh, integration is kind of what we like as a buzzword." If it doesn't integrate, then we won't use it. So, from a point of view, that's one of our main things. We're kind of looking at who we can integrate with and getting built in as quick as we can. The system without the integration is perfect anyway. A lot of customers use it without the integration, and it works completely fine from that point of view. But yeah, we try our best to get our integrations where we can. We've just done Repit. I think it was last month. We should be on. We're now in the
Yeah.
marketplace. Shoot was a couple of months ago. Apex is about to go live. SME is already up and running. So yeah, we're trying over the next kind of 6 months to integrate with as many people as we can. If it doesn't do an integration, then we're hot on it and trying to do that from that point of view. We all know in this industry, it's a buzzword, the integration, isn't it? So if you want us to do it, we'll do it.
We love a great integration. It's just code for we suppliers that like to play well with others. And I think honestly, we talked off camera about training agents, and yesterday I spoke to a group of agents, sort of asked them, what do they get out of these sessions, and what they like is collaboration, but they like it even more when the suppliers collaborate as well, because it
Yeah.
means we're not siloed anymore, and that we're sort of sharing best practice, and I think it helps to raise everybody up in the long run.
I think ultimately, with the things like the renters' rights bill and stuff coming in, we're time. We've got issues with time as an agent. Like we're always looking for the extra couple of 10 seconds we can spare, a minute we can spare, because we're getting busier day in, day out. And anything, even from an integration point of view, even if it saves 5 minutes of my time a day, it's definitely an add-on because yeah, we all know what it's like when the phone's ringing and you're trying to run out on viewings and whatnot. So yeah, it's quite important.
Um, I'm not saying you get objections very often, but when you do get objections from an agent, because this makes perfect sense. We've got tons and tons of keys. Most of us got a legacy of very old-fashioned key management systems. Some of us have got a dirty box full of keys that we can't actually match up with properties lurking somewhere in the back of our offices. What objection do you find that agents tend to raise most with adoption?
Um, The objection is generally, and the response I really get, it's just keys. It's,
Yeah.
it's just keys that they're not a big pain in my life. If they go missing, I can track them down and whatnot. And I think that's exactly the problem. That agents do treat it as it's just keys. Um, keys feel small until they're not. Most agencies don't generally change until they've had a scare. They've maybe lost a master key, they've had a landlord complaint, a near miss. The smarter agents put a system in before that even happens. And I think that's kind of my general comment is that, yeah, stop treating them as just keys. They're quite an integral point to you as a business. So start focusing on them and, yeah, getting that audit in process.
We're gonna come to a point which is has really amazed me because I think it is amazing. But to take it off on a tangent for a second, if I could give property managers my number one property management tip, it's disaster planning. It's make sure that you have things in place for when things go wrong. So for argument's sake, in the winter, you're going to have a situation very often where boilers break down, and for whatever reason, the part can't be sourced for 2 days, and it's a weekend, and it'll be 4 days actually before the whole thing's turned around. But you've got tenants who are cold, so keep a stock of radiators in place. Occasionally, you'll have problems with moisture, and you'll want to have dehumidifiers in place. So I have a little room actually in one of my buildings where in there at any given time you can go and find sort of 6 or 7 oil-filled radiators. You might be able to find some dehumidifiers. There's lots of other sort of emergency equipment in there that we have to deploy during the year, and it all helps. It's all part of that part and parcel of that picture of smooth property management. Except, Aaron, I'm going to tell you, for when I get to that room and I open it, expecting all 7 of my oil filled radiators to be in there, and I can only find one, and I need at least 4, that's an issue. So one of the things that you revealed to me earlier this morning was that you now don't just do keys, you can also track and monitor assets, as it were, to an agency. Tell us a little bit about that because I think this is amazing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about planning. And as your point is going to that room and seeing that the oil radiators aren't there, I think, yeah, a bit of a headache from a point of view of, yeah, where are they and what's going on? So we had a lot of customers who, we originally just went down the road of tracking keys. But we actually had a lot of customers who were putting oil radiators on their portals and dehumidifiers. So I kind of approached everyone and said, yeah, what are we doing here? What are you adding and why are you adding these? And they're actually attaching their um, Keyhive fobs to these radiators. So with that in mind, we've released something called assets. Basically allows you to add any asset to Keyhive. And what I mean by an asset is something which it might be properties, keys for properties, it might be dehumidifiers, it might be oil radiators. But what you can do is you can actually get these tags in a sticker format. So by doing that, we can put a sticker on a dehumidifier, and we can register it on the system as dehumidifier one, dehumidifier two, so on and so forth. And then when we go and take these to a tenant's property because their boiler's broken down or they've got mold in their property, we can then use our app on a mobile phone, which is a nice addition to the product as well. But basically, it allows you to scan that tag when you deliver it to the tenant's property. So we can say that dehumidifier one is being delivered to Jerry Jacobs. That Jerry Jacobs can sign that they're receiving that dehumidifier or log that dehumidifier has been signed to that person, and then we forget about it. And then in 2 months' time, we can log into our system and we can see actually we've got 5 dehumidifiers which are now signed out, and we can see who they've been signed out to, what date and time they were signed out to, and also the person who signed for it is also agreeing to your terms and conditions. They agreed to keep that dehumidifier and then return to you at the point when they need to do so. So now you can actually track your whatever you want, dehumidifiers, oil radiators. If you've got pool
Cars.
cars within the
That's
cars, if you've got pool cars within the office, you can put a key hive tag on the pool car. So actually, whenever your member team's taking a pool car out, you can fob and bring it up from that point of view. So you can track everything you want within the system. There's no need now for Excel spreadsheets and or trying to update this. Like we know they didn't get updated, but so you can actually now go and audit everything and see exactly what's going on and keep up to
I
date
would
with it.
stick them to everything, cameras, measuring device, anything that or normally sort of goes walkies, or that you have to sort of route around to find it and call the last person that had it. This is your opportunity really
Yeah,
to
and
really
if you
track
start
it.
tracking all those through within the system, you can actually, for instance, the oil radiators, we pack test every year. We're delivering an
Yeah.
actual item, we want to make sure they're pack tested. We can log those within KeyHive as well. So within the notes, we can say pack tested 12th of the 5th, 2026. So actually you can log your pack testing notes. So actually you now can keep a complete compliance on each item. So yeah, you'll be covered from that point of view.
Pool car went out with a full tank of petrol. Jerry returned it with a slither of petrol in it. I think
And
that's going to
and
be
3 points.
that's going to be absolute key. Aaron, it's really useful. It's really easy to use and to implement. I'm presuming for agents that are watching this that are interested in coming on board, um, the easiest thing in the world is just to jump on a Zoom chat with you, go through their requirements and their setup at the moment, and for you to sort of demonstrate how that works.
Yeah, I think jump on and have a chat. Look, the demo doesn't take more than kind of 15, 20 minutes anyway. A couple of questions after. We can jump in and out within kind of about half an hour if you wish. And just kind of go see what your pain points are and see if we can help you out. It's a real brief demonstration. The product's simple and easy, so I can't sit on it for hours talking to you about it. It's meant to be simple. So it will jump through it quickly. But yeah, just come have a look and see what you think from that side.
Well, you may think that keys are simple, but the more simple things are, sometimes the easier it is for them to go wrong. And digitally tracking it seems to be the way forward. Aaron, we've heard the feedback from the agents that have implemented this and are using it. And one of the things they always say is that they'd never go back, or they would never switch back to the way that they were doing it before, which I think is testament to how easy the system is to implement and to get into your branches. So thank you very much.
It's all right. It's nice to hear that feedback. It's as I say, once you have it in your office, you can't just forget about keys, and that's a nice problem to have.
That's great. Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for your time. Speak to you soon. Cheers.